Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your financial market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening of Wednesday, and we're at the 11th of March, 2026, just after 7 p.m. Central Time. As you can see, the stock market getting hit, metal markets getting hit. We're looking at the dollar getting another bid, and most of the currencies getting hit pretty good on the downside here. We're looking at energy prices up another $6 a barrel in energy. And when we step over here and we take a look at what's going on in most of the grains, they're still getting a bid. So we'll see where this is all going to carry things. That's going to be very important. When we take a look at what's going on, and I want to get to the news of the day, this is what you're going to get tomorrow morning. You're going to get the January trade balance data at 7:30, the Census Bureau monthly housing numbers and building permits, jobless claims, and the EI natural gas report. But the biggest news of all probably has to do with the pain that everybody's feeling and the pain of what's going on, obviously, between the U.S. and Iran. Number one, we've sort of hit a quagmire. And while the U.S. has taken out the Navy, the Air Force, and a lot of the missile launchers and missiles that Iran has, they have just enough, as you'd suspect, to cause a lot of pain to the United States. This is a game where the U.S. has to either take out the regime, which I don't think they can do, or find an off-ramp where everybody can live, whatever that off-ramp is. So, we heard the president, he keeps offering off-ramps in one way or the other. You've heard it, I heard it yesterday. And now suddenly the parts of Iran are saying, we can't live unless we're totally, and I'm talking the new regime, their demands are guarantees that there'll be no more attacks on them. Guarantees from Israel there'll be no more attacks on them. They're entitled to their sovereignty. They're entitled to this, to that. Well, the simple fact of life is they're fighting for their life. The U.S., I don't think, can put boots on the ground in Iran, but Israel can. So a coordinated effort could get things done. I think the issue isn't taking out the new supreme leader, which I believe Israel is going to do on its own one way or the other. I think it's about getting the uranium, the enriched uranium, away from Iran in one manner or the other. That, I think, could end this war. Then under a treaty, after you have that in hand, you stop the uranium enrichment, or you say to them, if you build these again, we're coming again. But barring that, we won't attack you, blah, 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 things of that nature. There's got to be something along that happens. Do I think that this war has surprised President Trump? Absolutely contrary to what he wants to tell us. I think that he thought after conquering Venezuela as he did and getting the results that he wants, I applaud him with 1,000 applauses there. The first attack on Iran a couple of months back, right? That went like unbelievable. But this one is about overthrowing the government. It didn't turn into, as he calls it, an incursion. It's a war. And I wish you were right that it were an incursion that lasts 2 weeks and the U.S. gets out of there because they've done enough, and you keep going back to create the same issue, and you keep doing it. We could end up with that. If we can't find an off-ramp between the two, the U.S. could easily pull back. The Iranians have to then do with their neighbors, probably free the straits, and as soon as they do something, the U.S. will show up again with Israel. That's another choice that could happen. But right now, the world is hurting because the price of energy keeps going up, and you have to talk about that. You know, about 16 million barrels go through the straits every day, up until this war. There's a way to get, apparently, out of Saudi Arabia and the UAE, about 7 million barrels a day with pipelines and the other means that they have away from the strait so that they can ship it. Okay. The IEA, the International Energy Agency, today said that its 32 members have agreed to pump back 4 million barrels a day of oil into the market. 400 million total over an X period of time, but it works out to 4 million. The problem is that's still 5 million shy. If 16 million were going through barrels a day, and you can get 7 away from one way or the other, and you can add 4 back from the reserves that the IEA members have, you're still 5 million shy. Now, there's other ways you can pick up a little bit, but you're not going to pick up 5 million barrels. And that's what keeps the bid in this market. That's what keeps the offer in the stock market. I don't believe that you're going down that far in the metals because they're going to look over the horizon and say, we're going to have inflation from this. Nothing is settled. And when it all does get done, countries will probably want to get their economies going again. You don't do that by raising rates. You do it by lowering rates, and that in itself is inflationary. I'm giving you a whole scenario, but I think I'm onto something important here, and that's the way that I would be looking at it. I think the key now isn't about defeating the Iranians. It's about off-ramps, getting everybody, them and the U.S., enough pain where everybody finally finds a way to end this, all right? That's what I'm looking at. When I look at what the market's doing, you can see how the stock market is falling. What did the president tell us for the first 2 months of the year? The stock market's powerful, it's good. This is 2026, this is when he came in. Now it's not so good. It's lower, and it's lower for the year. Number two, the market is falling down here. That doesn't look to me like a bullish pattern. It's a continuation of lower highs, lower lows. The market is looking all of a sudden at resistance at 18-day average, not support anymore. It's completely changed its character since the end of last year. And now you have a bear market in your hands. You have a market that keeps hitting Bollinger Bands, bouncing. You even hit the 200-day average that you haven't hit in years. It's been a very long time. And momentum is starting to crater and turn backwards. Chart's actually getting a bit more bearish. I don't like traders selling Bollinger Bands because the markets only stay under them 5% of the time overall. Those are things you got to look at. But on rallies, there's problems in the market. When we look at the NASDAQ, it rolled over again. So this market trying to get bearish, you're already there in the Dow. Look where you're at. You're back to the 100-day average, and you're back to the Bollinger Band. Again, you're down tonight another percentage point. When we take a look at the Russell, same thing. And this market's running the lower Bollinger Band. This is called the Gorilla Glue trade. It began right here at the beginning of March. You're 11 days into it. The market's rolling now the momentum down. I don't know where it's going, but why not back to challenge the 200-day average of closes? The DAX, you think Germany can withstand this? Germany joined in today. It was one of the very first countries, along with Japan, to say, we are in with the IEA, we're going to release. And we're starting to get all the details. I write about them tonight in my market letter, by the way. When we take a look at Treasuries, how do you do anything but interest rates go up? People are scared. In order to get them to invest in your numbers, in your treasuries, you got to give more yield. And that's what's going on everywhere. You see that in the 2-year and the 10-year. When we look at the dollar, well, we're still the strongest currency in the world. Market coming back up for the old highs, probably, or 7 points away from it. Euro coming down. They're weak because of it. The yen is super weak. That's another one that I'm looking at. Why am I so bearish the yen? And I did tell my subscribers, excuse me, on the rally here to sell into it. We got filled at the price we wanted. Hold on. Excuse me there. Allergy season for me beginning. And the market coming down, as you can see. Okay. Why? Because Japan imports 100% of its oil needs. So if you're going to pick a currency you want to be short, you don't have to be the smartest guy in the world, which I'm certainly not, but you look at things. Then we come to Bitcoin. I like what Bitcoin's doing. I'm going to tell you, I like this whole play. I think Bitcoin's sold itself out. It's going to have to prove me wrong by coming back here and getting under the 60,000 level to make me think I'm wrong on that thinking. Barring that, I like what I'm basically seeing. On the energy market, well, we're not up over and into the 119.40 area, but we are approaching $100 again. We've seen the spike. You've taken out a lot of the stops in the market. The market should have some resistance at the upper Bollinger Bands. I don't see a spike that's going to make it jump like that. Again, what can Iran do? They can mine the Strait of Hormuz. They already have. They say they put out 12. The U.S. says that they've captured 28 mines. I don't know what that means. I don't know who's telling truth or what they're doing. In the April crude, the WTI, why not go to the Bollinger Band? Until this is over, where are you going to get this oil from? That's the problem. You've lost 5 million barrels a day by my poor math, but something that I've already explained to you. When we look at the gasoline, same thing. Some of the countries that are members of the IEA, they don't have reserve oil, but they certainly have product. They can release some of that, but the market is saying it needs it. And gee, let me think about this. We're in March. Isn't spring around the corner and the driving season begins in this hemisphere? Not just the United States, the hemisphere. Think about that. So you've got another problem coming at you. Nat gas still staying up, same problem. What does Qatar put out through the straits? My friend Alfred, I won't give his last name, pointed that out to me. I remember it like yesterday. He was so right. And a big chunk of that. Now, where do you get it? You got to get it from us. How's it cost? How much does it cost to ship it, and so on? Keeps the bids in the market. So you put it all together. This is what you're dealing with, and look at it that way. Now, I want to remind you, I put up a flash sale for a short while, and here it is. 60% off any of my research, the Spider stock research. 60% off the future, 60% off my full research, updates during the day, 2 market letters Monday through Thursday, 1 Friday, 1 on Sunday. Yep, you get all that. And the morning subscriber video and my special reports are included free in those. I charge for my special reports. Everybody gets a few of them, and then after that they pay me almost a half of, it's crazy what people pay. I won't even go into it. Now, when I say 60 off, what's that in real money? What if I told you for 3 months that equates to $20? Not a month, $20. So if you go to Starbucks, Pete's Coffee, it's one of those in a tip each month, one, and you're done. Pretty much, I'm close to it. Same on the Spider. It's not that way on the full research, but it's a gift. So if you're interested, all you do is put in your browser, iraepstein.com, news sub, N-E-W, news sub, news of, whatever you want to call it, but put the /. You can click up here, or you can move your cursor over there. Any of those will work for you. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening. I'll talk to you all first thing in the morning in the other videos tonight. You take care.